carrying primarily the CAR-15s? Did anyone carry an RPD or something a little heavier as well in that lineup? Or what were you armed with when you went across the border?
That depended on the 1-0 entirely. I liked to go with 8 men, and I liked to have 2 M79 Grenadiers when I had Montagnards, because those guys could really pump out the rounds. They could probably fire 8-10 rounds per minute, which is far above what the so-called book says, maybe 8 rounds a minute. And I liked all that fire going out. And there were lengthy 40 millimeter CS gas rounds that we had. And that was nice to throw CS in the bad guy's direction on occasion. However, there were some team leaders who thought they lost some of their basic firepower if they went with the single shot M79s. So they went to the 203. I think it was an M178 and then the 203 grenade launcher attached to 16 or CAR-15. Well, I didn't like it because it makes it, you aren't going to shoot well with the 40 millimeter, and it destroys the balance on the M16 or CAR-15. And you're getting the disadvantages for both weapons. Yeah. So some team leaders did indeed have a couple grenadiers using 203s, but others, including a name that you may be familiar with, Daryl, former commander of Delta Force, went on to retire as a 2-star.
I'm blanking on the name too, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But he was one of those who cut it down into a pistol.
Yep.
And he would have it hanging.
Was that Eldon Bargewell? Did he do that?
Eldon Bargewell, yes. Eldon, which God bless his soul, he passed away 2 years ago. Great man. But anyways, he had an M79 sawed off. It was about that long, and unloaded, would carry it on a snap blank. And if needed, he had a few rounds with him, and he had more rounds among the team. Well, what was great was I had an image of his M79, sawed-off M79. I was doing a briefing down at Fort Bragg, and I showed it. I explained its usefulness, yada, yada, yada. And I said, if you ever run into some person of rank who says you should not be modifying a weapon to make it more useful, go talk to Eldon Bargewell. By then it was General Bargewell, because that's his M79.
Nice.
He was a good egg.
I think he carried RPD as well for a little bit in there.
Yes. We modified RPDs.
Yeah.
Sawed off the barrel, cut it back, modified the drum so that instead of 100, it carried 125 rounds, which it was a non-delinking belt. So our guys figured out how to attach an extra 25 links. And that drum, as you're walking along, it might slap a little bit, and it makes a noise. This is real basic level stuff. They cut out a piece of linoleum, just the size of the drum, slid it in there so it was nice and snug, and it didn't make any noise. But that machine gun, which was their light squad machine gun, it was so well balanced. Once it was chopped down, it was incredible. In fact, Eldon Bargewell, when he got hit twice, for which he in engagement, which he received DSC, he was using a sawed-off RPG.
Yeah.
RPD. But it was so balanced, you could almost write your name with it. And to have that, which they'd have at least one every other round tracer. Psychologically, you know what that does to the enemy. And somebody who's going, excellent combination. And it's proof that the Russians, Soviets, have some idiots in their development command, because they got rid of the RPD and replaced it with is it RPK?
Yes,
just there's a modified AK with
PKM. There's
a magazine that's so long you can't go prone with it. But that RPD was an excellent machine gun. We really thought some of our teams that would go heavy, like Joe Walker or Ed Wolkoff, where they'd take out all 12 guys on their team. They think they could conquer the world, then, of course.
Wow.
And they would have at least one RPG rocket launcher.
Okay.
They were RPG 2s. They would have 2 RPD machine guns, and sometimes, well, both of them at times carried a 60 millimeter mortar that was going off.
Ooh.
It had it on a sling.
Oh,
Boy, I'll tell you. I would have one if I was on bright light duty, because we're going to go in loaded for bear. Where bright light means going in after a downed pilot, a team that's been overrun, somebody who's running for his life. So you wanted a lot of firepower. So I got to believe in that 60 millimeter. Joe Walker, with that 60 millimeter, God almighty, did he bring P upon them.
Wow.
A second career in CIA.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there are a few guys that went that route. Actually, it's part of the book that I'm writing right now. And in the prologue to that book, there's some RPD action, chopped RPD action that I described just the way you did with the extra 25 rounds, with putting the pad inside the drum so it doesn't rattle. So I'm trying to get all those details right. So it's all in that in the prologue to the upcoming book. If you enjoyed that clip, watch the full episode here, or another clip here.